tingling episode of the classified case files of Theodore D. Bear.
The next day I made my way down to the shipping dock on the east side of town. After some searching and directions that I received from one of the workers in the area, I arrived at the address that the owner from Nolene's Things had given me. It had brought me to a large industrial building with the name P&Q Industries emblazoned in large white letters on the front of the building. I entered through the door that said main office above them. I approached the receptionist at the front desk and asked if I could speak with the head supervisor. The young lady behind the desk asked for my name and I told her.
Theodore D. Bear of the D. Bear Detective Agency.
She told me to have a seat while she rang up the supervisor to come out front to meet with me. I didn't have to wait too long when a woman in a business suit approached me, introduced herself, and shook my hand. She then led me to her office, motioned for me to take a seat in the chair in front of her desk, and closed the door before being seated behind her desk. After clearing away some paperwork, she finally asked me the nature of my visit. I proceeded to tell her that I was working on a case about the missing teddy bears that was happening throughout town, and was wondering if she would mind answering some questions if she had time to spare. She assured me that she had time to spare, and I commenced with my questioning. When asked if she had any problems of teddy bears missing after they had been completed during production in the factory, she said no. She stated that the only bears that had went missing were those that were shipped to fulfill orders of the company's respective clients. She did mention that for the last few days she had been receiving calls from clientele about the shipments arriving with empty boxes and no bears, some becoming so irate to the point of making threatening comments and some threatening to sue. When I asked if anyone, even an employee, could be stealing the bears after they had come off the line or after hours, again she replied no. She then got up and took me on a tour of the factory from beginning of production to the final stage where the boxes are inventoried by 4 teams before being sealed and ready for shipment. On our way back to her office, she informed me that the company employs 3 security teams, one inside of the factory, one outside, and a series of Rottweiler dogs that remained behind the fence of the shipping yard and storage yard. This woman seemed to be pretty eccentric about her job, but also seemed to be pretty sufficient and meticulous when it came to making sure that the paperwork reflected the company's production for the past few days. Everything seemed on the dot and accounted for. I asked her if there were any suspicious activity in the workforce or anyone who had called in sick but never showed back up for work again. She said no, and that the only ones who weren't at work were those either on vacation or maternity leave. I wrapped up my questioning, thanked her for her time, and then left. As I was making my way out of the building and heading down the block to catch the bus back to the office, I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. Over by a corner of the building, I spied something bright yellow and thin. I walked over and knelt down, pretending to tie one of my shoes. It was a yellow strand of thread that was singed on one half of it. I pulled out a pair of tweezers and a small plastic baggie from the inside of my coat and collected the evidence. When I arrived at the office, I phoned the police department's forensics lab to let them know that I was coming in with some evidence for them to take a look at. Later, I received a call from one of my eyes and ears around town. They said that they had a hot tip for me and to meet them at Mama Red's Speakeasy at 9 p.m. And when I arrive, I am to tell the maitre d' that I am with the Bears Picnic Party, and that I was to bring the usual payment. I hung up the phone, went to wash up, have some lunch, and take out a change of clothes for later.
Tune in next time for another exciting episode of the classified case files of Theodore D. Bear.